Okay, so before we start talking about our approach to select different subcontractors and how we actually go about things of that nature, let's take our moment and simply look at what we have achieved so far. So this is my Billy C Store Bitmaster file. I'm going to post this on Canvas. I'm going to actually share it with you so you can have your own look at it. So here's the idea. We started from these are different assignments that we have worked on, right? So we started from this is assignment 6 on concrete, masonry, so forth and so on. And you guys can see that this goes all the way to division 9, which is the finishes, right? So everything else has remained empty, and that's something we need to work on. Let's also quickly look at this page. That's the page that we have completed last time during our lecture, and this is our general conditions cost, right? As you see, the personnel, the field office, safety, cleaning, so forth and so on. We actually have put all of that together, and it looks pretty nice, all on top, general conditions. And when we scroll all the way down, and that is something also that we've covered last time. We basically said that RS Means has helped us to have an estimate about the permit, for general liability insurance, for builder's risk, and also for the bond. And as you guys can see, bond will be calculated based on the number of your direct costs right here on top. And then your construction fee. This is your choice, right? This is your choice. But RS Means basically says that for a project the size of Billy C Store, a normal average construction fee is about 6%, right? So other things like escalation, contractor contingency, we're not going to include them in there. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to ask you guys to do that for your own package for your semester project as well. Change this to home office. And then cool. So when I have home office, I need to find a way to complete this. I need to find a way to actually have a percentage point, let's say 3%, 4%, whatever that number is, in here as well. And that's going to be the video that I'm going to post right after this one. So awesome. So far I have a good handle of my detail estimate. I have a good handle of my general conditions and indirect costs, except for home office. Now let's take a look at some other information that I just received from different subcontractors, right? So this is the file, again, will be posted on Canvas for you to look at. That has information about your project in some of the specialty contractor codes that you've received. As you can see, you have a code for glazing system, you have a code for fire protection, well, actually 2 codes for fire protection, for food equipment. This is the walk-in cooler, so forth and so on. In general, what I really want you guys to be able to do, and this is something that you need to replicate for your semester project, is that when you receive a set of new information, it can be in the form of a quotation, it can be in the form of some material, invoice, or anything of that nature. What is it that we're trying to do with this, right? In general, our goal is to be able to do one of the 2 forms of comparison, okay? So either I'm taking a quotation from my subcontractor and compare it to my own work, or I'm taking a quotation from subcontractor A and compare it to the quotation that I received from subcontractor B and C and so forth and so on. So in general, you either compare the information that you receive from specialty contractor with themselves, or you compare that information with your own work. And my goal is to actually help us do both in this setting. So let's have it. Let's have at it. Let's start with this one right here. What's extremely important for any quotations that we receive is to be sure that we read through all the important information here, right? Is this code submitted to the right job? Believe it or not, guys, there's multiple times in which you check little stuff and it turns out that the subcontractor did not even mean to submit a code to you. Oh, so we have to be thorough with all of this. One thing that's extremely important is this section. What's included and what's excluded in their package, right? So when you look at the glazing system for Billy C store, and let me pull up the drawings real quick. So if you remember, there is this glazing system in Billy C store project. There are no windows, but you have this sort of big glazing system, a storefront type scenario. And if you remember, we did work on this. So we actually happen to have our own number pertaining to this. So that's good. So that's the case that you are going to compare this code with your own work, right? Now, when I read through what's included, it turns out that it is they include all labor and material for glazing as indicated in the Billy C store drawings. That includes everything: aluminum framing, glazing, so forth and so on. Tax is included. However, these are the things that are excluded. One is that storefront door. There's an aluminum door that's excluded. Two, they're not offering a low emissivity coat on their glazing system. And then three, after completion, they're not guaranteeing any protection. So if an accident would actually happen to break that glazing, that's your cost. That's not their subcontractor. However, when I keep scrolling down, I get to the point that their price is given to me. Now check this out. $20,000, $12,000, and $800. There you go. That's your first discrepancy, right? How do we go about this? Out in the real world, you pick up the phone and call them up, right? And say, so which one's correct? Right? Now, let's pretend that we cannot do this. Let's pretend that we don't have access to that contractor. And let's think about the fact that which one do we include in our work? This number, or neither, right? So the safe choice is to include neither, right? Well, let me take that back. Not the safe choice. One choice is actually to include neither. However, you're missing some valuable information, right? Because of some typo. This does not give us the right of, missing or not using that information in our work. Now, the second thing is that the reason I say, let's say that you don't have access to the subcontractor is that many times, and for the reasons that I'm pretty sure that we've discussed, you will receive these codes probably an hour or two prior to submission, right? So you have little time to go over a lot of things. So it just is not an option. It takes a lot of time for us to go through all of that. There's not enough time to do all of this. So it's going to be a pretty perplexed situation right there. Now, some of you might say that, well, this is the safer choice, right? Because the number is higher. So if I get the job and this number, so the smaller number turns up to be correct, so be it. I'm actually going to be up $8,000, right? And some of you might say, no, this will actually give me more edge on that competition. So this is more competitive. And this one is more safe, correct? Now, some of you might actually vote on this one. Some of you might vote on that one. But what I want you to do is that let's go to our work for storefront and glazing. Let's look at our number. So our number is about $25,000. Now, if I go back to this, I can then readily say that this probably is going to be closer to reality. And this is a typo because I have a number that matches with this one better, right? So let's actually, that's the type of thinking that I want you guys to develop. So within a short amount of time, can I still use that information in my package, right? And which one would be a more correct number that I can use? So that's going to be my number, $20,000. So let's go back to my Bitmaster and see how I put all of this into and populate my sheets with it. So the name of that group is Harman Glass. So let's change that to Harman Glass, right? Their base code is 20,000. However, when I look at their code, I realize that yes, they have included the aluminum framing. Yes, they have included the aluminum framing, but no, they have not included the storefront door. Right here, yes, they have included the glazing, but no, they have not included the low emissivity coating layer. So I'm not comparing apples and apples here. So how do I go about this? So what I can say is that, all right, so they haven't included this in their package, but I have a number that's coming from another source. So to say the least, I can have the other source, namely my own number. I can have my own folks to come in and install this in storefront door, and they have a number for it, right? So why don't I copy and paste that number over on this column? So this way I have two comparable packages, right? And what turns out to be the case is that now you can see that here, this was my number, this was the subcontractor's number. So subcontractor number is actually ends up being a more competitive numbers. That's why you see it over there, and that's their name. If I go back to my trade sum sheet, there we go. It turns out that that now, instead of having my own name, the subcontractor's name will be populated over there, right? So that's the type of thinking that I want us to develop. Now let's go to the next page here. Let's go to the next page, and this is A&A fire protection. So let me go to my Billy C store package and try to find my fire protection page. So that's my fire protection page here. Let's look at the first one. So these guys include fire suppression wet sprinkler system with the heads and piping and wax coating and fire protection design. So they are providing the fire protection system. They are including sprinkler in their work, as well as valves and pipings and fittings. And then lastly, they also include a design. So this is kind of a design build package they're giving us. So they're not including plumbing systems, and they're not including any maintenance. Good. So their base code is 12,500. So 12,500 it is. Let me go ahead and add that to my package. So that's their base code, 12,500, and their name, I believe, was A&A fire protection. So A&A. Cool. So, and yes to all of these. So they are providing all of these. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second code from Dry Fire. They are giving me also everything as far as the installation of a fire protection system. Their system is a dryer sprinkler system, but that's fine because I don't have any really I don't have a design, I don't have documents for this, right? So both systems can actually function pretty well there. However, what's lacking here, as you can see, is that they're not giving me a fee for design, right? So I'm after a design build number. So let's actually see what their number is. 10,111. So dry fire, these are all yeses. However, this one, they don't have any design fee here added to them, to their work. So how do I go about finding a good design fee? Our good friend RSMeans. So let's go to RSMeans. So that division of general requirements is actually pretty helpful for professional consultants. Engineering fees. Let's take a look at this and see if there's anything that we could use. All right. So the closest that I can use, and just to be on the safe side, and given the size of this project, is the plumbing and an HVAC design firm. Well, fire protection is pretty close as well. And the number that's given is 10.1%, right? Now, if I go back to my package, then I can say 10.1% times their base bid is the amount of money that I would have to put there for design on their package, correct? So fair enough. So I have now, again, I have apples and apples. The lower number will be selected automatically by the sheets. Let's go ahead and check that. So I have 12,688 and 11,355. And the smaller number is now being picked by the system automatically. Cool. So let's go to the next. Let's go to the next one. So that's the food equipment. Let's go ahead and locate a page for food services. I'm gonna go back here and find food services and equipment page. Cool. All right. So let's see what's included here. So the walk-in cooler material delivery and all the connections, hardware, and everything included in here. So there's no maintenance included. Also, they did not include the tax. South Carolina tax 6%. Let's assume that. So the name, food equipment, the name of the subcontractor here, food equipment, their base bid 11,000. Let's go ahead and put all that in. All right, so food equipment base bid 11,000. So the walk-in cooler is included, installation is included, however tax is not. So let me put yes and yes here, and then we're gonna have to figure this out. I know that this would be 6% of their code, so I can again calculate it. Fantastic. Let's go to the next page, and I have cooler builders. So my subcontractor 2 is Cooler Builders. Their code is 11,800. Right, and they have included everything in their package. So yes, to the walk-in cooler, all the installation costs and even tax is all included. Now, even that, if you include the tax of 6% to their work, you can still see that the food equipment guys have a more competitive number. Fine, so let's actually do the same thing as we go through and then see what we have next. We have a plumbing system. All right, so let's go ahead and locate our plumbing page here in the Bitmaster. All right, so that's Division 22. That's the plumbing page. Well, let's actually see what's included in here. All right, so again, I am going to have two things added here. Let's see what I have. So I have two companies. Flows downhill. Well, that's true. And smells like money. That's also true. So let me start with that. Okay. Now, when I look at the scope of work, it turns out that this first guy, Smells Like Money, has included every labor material for complete plumbing package, all domestic sanitary lines, connections, even excavation for those connections, caulking and plumbing and everything in their package. Taxes included per plans and specs. However, this is a big clarification right there. That says bathroom fixtures furnished by owner. What does that mean? It simply means that this company is not going to pay for the fixtures. So we have to find another way basically to price out these fixtures. Okay, so that's one thing that we need to have in mind. And the price is given 11,500. So let's go ahead and put that in 11,500. Now, again, one way about this is to say, well, forget about this. This is incomplete, right? But again, it's good information, so why not using it? So here, let's actually list everything that's included. The plumbing package, come on, I can't even type. The domestic and sanitary lines. What else? Even the excavation is included. So forth and so on. Now, let me actually get down to here to bathroom fixtures. So this is going to be a no here, but the rest is going to be all yes. Right. Okay, so let's take a look at the second one. So this guy's package includes everything, right? So the only thing that they're excluding, and we're fine with that, is that they're excluding the fire suppression system. Now we have our own way of getting taking care of it, so that's good. So let me put their base bid over there, 13,999, all good. So again, everything has been included. Now, the only thing that I need to take care of to make these comparable is this guy right here, bathroom fixture for this. So how do I go about that? RSMeans. Let's go to RSMeans and let's see if we can find some useful information from it. So plumbing is Division 22. Okay, and So before I actually get there, let's check something real quick and see what kind of fixtures do I need to have. So here it turns out that I have one, change color here. I have 1, 2, 3 walk-in closets. I have 4 lavs, and I have 1 urinal. So I have 3 walk-in closets, I have 1 urinal, and I have 4 lavatories. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that in. So here I'm gonna have WC I'm gonna have lavs, and I'm gonna have urinals. How many? Like I said, you're gonna have 3 water closets, 4 lavs, and 1 urinals. Okay, so that's all good. The only thing I need is the line number and a total ONP from another source, let's say from our good friend RS Means. So when I look at this commercial plumbing fixtures, you got that. So the water closets is right here. I have a water closet. So what I really want to find is a number that would describe this. So I picked the floor mounted system here. Now, however, when you look at this line number, and this is important, guys, this is important. When you look at this system or this price, should I pick the total ONP? And your answer should be no. Why? Because that includes the labor and equipment to install it, but the contractor will actually do that for me. So the only thing that I'm really going to look at here is the bare material, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to include only bare material, 325. But remember, RS Means does not include tax to the material. They actually, that 10% of overhead and profit they apply is supposed to include tax for you. So we have to amend it. Well, that's fine. Let's go ahead and do the same thing now, this time for the lavatories. All right, so back to, let's do the urinals first. I guess it's easier. Again, a blowout type, nice urinal, wall hang, well, that makes sense. And I have bare material of 470. All right, so let's take that, $470 times 6% of tax. And then lastly, the lavatories, let's see what's best for that. What can be used for lavatories? Commercial lavatories and sinks is right here. So you have your lavs. It says go to section 2241 16, and well, okay, so we go to this division, go for lavs, and it looks like that a wall hung 22 by 19 inch single bowl will actually take care of the job for us. So that's the bare material that we're going to use, so 690. So again, I'm going to actually put in 690 times the tax of 6%. So I'm good. Now here's the idea. So these numbers, you need them for the first subcontractor, correct? However, look what's happening. Because right now, under your own name, under your own work, you have a very small number here. So the system is mistakenly picking up this number, which is obviously wrong. And that's something we need to avoid. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So here, what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to add a 1 in a big number, right? So to rule out that number. So, and here I say kind of wrong job. So I understand that this number is because I wanted the system not use my numbers because they're incomplete, correct? So this way, now I have two numbers. One is the flows downhill, and the other one smells like money. Now the ones that's more competitive is going to be picked by the system. So with that same mentality, now let's go ahead and go to the next item at hand, which is going to be the HVAC system. Let's go ahead and find the correct HVAC page from Bitmaster. So back to TradeSum. I'm going to go ahead and find the correct HVAC page from my Bitmaster. So that's the correct page. Let me go back and take a look at the codes that I've received. So it turns out that I have one code here from High Times HVAC. I have another one from High Dollar Cooling, and the last one from Cooling U. So let's start evaluating the first one. So this one includes all labor material for complete HVAC system. That's great. To specifically include all the ductwork, HVAC test and balance, and controls, right? And controls, all all access panels and fire caulking and things like that, exhaust fans, condensers, air handlings. Everything is going to be included, but you see two numbers there, correct? You see two numbers there. And again, you should be wondering which one should I pick. So let's go to the next one and see which one of these two numbers seems to be correct. So High Dollar, they are giving you a price of $35,000, right? So it kind of, at the first glance at least, it looks like that this number of 40,000 is closer to reality. So what I'm going to do is that let me go back to my Bitmaster and include a complete HVAC package. So no electrical connections. All the HVAC controls are included. What else? So the ductwork, fire caulking, exhaust fans, and air handling units, they're all included in this base bid. The name of the company was High Times. So let's actually put that in, High Times. Their quotes, it seems to be $40,000 to be the correct number. So, and everything here is included in their work. So good. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the one, next one. I believe the name was High Dollars. Put that in. Now here, let's see what they have included. It turns out that they also have included everything. So test and balance, controls, ductwork, HVAC equipment, everything, thermostats. And they have a quote of $35,555. They also telling me that the bonding for them is available at 1%. Let's go ahead and go to the bottom. So here your bond rate, when you click on that, it looks like that, you know, the normal bond rate that's assumed for those systems is 1.5%. However, these guys are saying that we have a rate available at 1%. So I'm going to actually take that and replace that with 1%. Okay, so with that said, so that's, and everything is included. So let's go ahead and put all the yeses here so I know what's included and what's not. Awesome. So let's go back to this one and take a look at the Cooling U proposal. So they have 32,200, 30,200. They include the material, labor, they exclude electrical connection, but here is a red flag. They say bonding is not available. Guys, you don't want to work with a group that does not have bonding at hand. That's just bad idea, period. Now, what else should I look for? So when I carefully look at this, check this out. They're actually applying for a wrong job here. They're not actually applying for your job. So what's my best way of going about this? So let me actually include them in our work. So it's Cooling U. Their base bid was 30,200. However, they have not applied for my job, so I'm actually going to put a fictitiously big number here so my system does not select their number as opposed to another number, right? Because initially, if I remove this, the system will automatically select Cooling U to be the winner. I don't want them to be a part of this, so I have to put a large number here. So this way the system finds out that they're not a contender, so they have to actually go off of these two contractors. This is what I want you to do for your semester project as well. Keep in mind, it's very important for us to include every information in our package, because you never know what was going to happen in 2 months, but you should be actually on top of everything. So with that said, I believe the only thing that's left for us to do is electrical. So let's go ahead and find the electrical page from our Bitmaster file, and here's my electrical page. All right, so I go back here. So I have Bright Ideas. Yeah, I normally do have Bright Ideas, by the way, but that's the name of the subcontractor here. So they have given me a base coat of 39,100. So 39,100 is their base coat. Let's actually put everything in there, and that's included. So the complete high voltage, all equipment hookups, right? Fire penetration. What else do they have? Access panels, all lighting, tele and data. So all lighting, tele/data. And you also see that they are giving fire alarm system, lightning protection, and then HVAC controls, right? And when I go back, I'll see that it's giving me a bunch of numbers here, and if I add these numbers up, they are all going to add up to the same final quotation. right? So let's actually go to the next one and see what they include in their work. So they include the hall voltage, lighting, electrical circuit, HVAC equipment connections, fire caulking, fire alarms, teledata, and lightning protection. What they exclude is HVAC controls and, again, lightning protection. So they include lightning protection, they exclude it. What should I do? This way, it would be much safer to go with the exclude, because if you specifically exclude something, there's no really reason for us to assume that that's part of our work. So here, I have all yeses. Okay, and then here on the next subcontractor, Allspark, I have a quote of 30,500. It does have the complete high voltage. It does have the equipment hookups, the fire caulking, lighting, tele and data, fire alarm. It doesn't have this one. What should I do about this? So one thing that I really need to do is that I need to find a number that could actually help me figure out what's going on. Again, making apples and apples comparison here. So it turns out that this guy right here actually has 6,500 for for lightning protection. So what I can do is that I can add this 6,500 to their codes. So now I have apples and apples, right? And the second thing that is important is really is this HVAC controls. If you guys remember let's look at it. The HVAC guys, they have included HVAC controls in their package, so you don't want to double count that. So you have your HVAC control, you don't need HVAC control. Hence, you have to take HVAC control in conduit, this guy, out of their package. So let's say negative 4,100, because that has already been taken care of. Makes sense? So, negative 4,100 for HVAC controls. However, Allspark did not include HVAC control in their package. So what they have is good. Now I have apples and apples. Now with all this data process that I did, it turns out that Bright Ideas becomes competitive, right? Bright Ideas becomes competitive. So that's it. Let's actually scroll down, and that was the last package that I had. Let's go back to our trade sum page, and here you can see for fire protection, for plumbing, for HVAC, for electrical, for food equipment, so forth and so on. Now we have numbers, and check this out. Now we have a new number for our subtotal. Okay, so in the next video, I am going to discuss, first of all, what number should I put in there for home office? What kind of assumptions can I make, and how do I calculate that? And then secondly, how can I complete my markup table? You'll remember we talked about this markup table before. So you have your total project, direct cost, gross profit, so forth and so on. What's the best way about this guy right here? Okay, so this will be the content for my next video. So I'll talk to you then.